Welcome, everybody, to the RnR Catcast, a fan-based podcast focusing on Montana State athletics. We're two dudes named Ryan from the state of Washington talking about our dear Montana State. We hope you enjoy. All right, welcome back, Bobcat fans. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the RnR Catcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Foley. I'm joined with my good buddy, Ryan Thornburg. We are the Ryans of the RnR, the Montana State affiliate of the Big Sky Podcast Network. We want to say thanks to Gear Up Sports. Gear Up Sports is a youth sports platform focused on solving the uniform and apparel headache for coaches. If you're a youth or high school coach, need uniforms or player packs, please contact them at www.gearupwithus.com and make sure to mention the RnR Catcast. I also want to say about the Gear Up Sports. I've been looking into their website lately. I know we probably have quite a few companies, guys who own companies that listen to us. Gear Up Sports gives companies a chance to build a web store and provide them with some swag for their company where their employees can literally just order in what they want. And I think that's pretty cool because every place I've ever worked got company swag where we're trying to fit people with like double XLs out of like a closet. Like, hey, we got some leftover shirts for you. Here you go, kind of deal. Not with Gear Up Sports. I think that's pretty cool. So, Carhartt, Nike brands sounds good to me. Give Gear Up Sports a little bit of some love if you're looking for some company swag. Thorny, we're here. It's the bye week. We got our good buddy Zack Levere on the Catcast with us. If you don't know Zack ran with the brick ball last year, and he's going to take off with that again this year. But we thought we'd bring on a third person to just clog it up, and so we could talk over each other even more tonight. But this Zack's a student over at Montana State, so he's got a good pulse on the program over there in Bozeman. So, Zack, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. I can't believe I'm already a junior already. Like, I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, I got 2 more years here. But, man, fired up for basketball season already. Just the things I've seen from Coach Logie as well as the women's program as well. It's going to be a good basketball year. But we're not here to talk about basketball. We're here to talk about a bye week. And I got some hot takes tonight. So hopefully I'll fire those off. I haven't talked to you guys in a while, so I've missed you guys. So let's go.
There's going to probably be a lot that comes out in this session here. With not much of a game to recap and not much of a game to preview, really. So we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, so we got Mercyhurst coming up, and so we will probably not talk about Mercyhurst, let's be honest.
Not too much.
We'll talk about a lot of other things besides Mercyhurst. What's Mercyhurst's mascot? I can't even know. What is it?
Lakers, I'm pretty sure.
Mercyhurst Lakers.
What's Lakers? What the heck's a Laker?
Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's what I could think of.
Which I don't know the answer to that either.
Is it someone who
hangs out at lakes a lot?
Sunbathes? All right. Okay, a little bit of a rundown. This will be an interesting episode, so we'll try to keep it somewhat similar. We'll go into some news. We'll talk about Coach Vigen's presser. We'll talk about the FCS stats poll. And after that, I'm missing what else do we talk about, Tony? We don't have a game recap, so we're going to get into some. I'll probably talk about conference realignment.
Woohoo!
Woo!
A little discussion about that. I know we're going to disagree on that.
A little good cop, bad cop, right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll get into some Golden Coolie questions. Oh, we want to talk about where the Cats are at, like right now. What's kind of the pulse of the team? Maybe some Big Sky Power stuff. So. It'll be in and out.
I want to hear a little bit about Gold Rush from Zack, too. Just the
I was going to say, do you want me to run down Gold Rush
a
little bit, too?
Our eyes on the field.
We don't get
to be there. We don't get to be there.
All right. I guess first, let's talk about what's in our Golden Coolies.
What's in your Golden Coolie?
What's in your Golden Coolie? It's brought to you by Shay Richter and Wilbur Ellis. Go see them up in Fort Benton for all of your farming and fertilizer needs. There we go. Well, I got tired of not drinking beer, but I'm still kind of doing my sober thing. So I have a Blue Moon, non-alcoholic Blue Moon in my little golden coolie here. When I was
Way to
taking
stick
a peek
strong.
at it and I was looking at it, it still says celebrate responsibly. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to celebrate responsibly after drinking 30 non-alcoholic beers, but it's actually not bad. It's very citrusy. So it's actually, for non-alcoholic, it's not too bad. I've never had a Blue Moon NA before. It's not too bad.
Nice. I've got a gallon of Hoot wine. If you don't get that reference, that's a dig at the Grizz fan pod. But
Actually, I did listen to that portion. As usual, I made it through parts of the Grizz fan pod and then, just can't listen anymore.
Anyway.
It's too long. Sorry,
Anyway.
Mike.
As something we were discussing off air before, I have Matt Brewing's Tailgater Golden Ale, which was a collaboration with the Bobcat Collective. Picked up a 6-pack last week, and gotta say, not bad. Good for its name, tailgate beer. Crushed a few of them before Gold Rush. Quality tailgate beer, I'd say that. Sometimes when you get a specialty runoff product, it just doesn't live up to it, but totally not a sponsor. I'm just saying, good beer. Good crushable beer.
Well, shout out always to the Bobcat Collective and Brandon Van Cleve for all they're doing over there for the football program and all the student athletes at Montana State. Really appreciate putting that together and, getting players some money and helping Cats be a little bit competitive in the NIL landscape.
Are you a Clamato guy, Zach?
New.
Okay. All right.
I love Clamato.
Yeah.
I wonder what Clamato would taste like in a NA beer. Probably about the same, really. I generally put mine very heavy Clamato, so probably very similar.
Since last week, Thorny, you kind of re-energized me to go get like actual beer that we can talk about instead of just Coors Light. I have one of those as my secondary beer over here, but I have a Laughing Dog Cream Ale, and Laughing Dog comes from Ponderay, Idaho, or like Sandpoint, Idaho, just right outside of Sandpoint. And I've been looking for this beer for a long time. I feel like I saw it 10 years ago. And I went to kind of a craft store today, and the cooler, you could just buy one-offs. And so here we go. It's a Laughing Dog Cream Ale.
Pretty sure I told you last episode to go find a place that sells cans individually.
It only has 4% alcohol.
Only
you could be
4%.
drinking this.
Only.
You can celebrate pretty responsibly. Well, all right. Well, that's kind of what inspired me to get the Blue Moon over here instead of just complaining about like tea and
pretty good.
I was like, I'd rather get something.
Yeah.
So there we go.
All right.
3 solid beers, 2.5 beers.
Before we get into Coach Vegan's presser, let's talk about the FCS rankings. South Dakota State stayed number 1. North Dakota State, oh my gosh. They were on the verge of losing. They were down 12 with 3 minutes left. They got a quick touchdown. The guy almost intercepted the ball, went out of his hands, and would have sealed the deal for Eastern Tennessee State University, ETSU.
Go Buccaneers.
Oh my gosh. And then North Dakota hits a touchdown. They get an onside kick and then get another touchdown. And North Dakota State squeaks out this game. Oh my gosh. The fans at ETSU were just so sad. They went from just partying to just devastated. It was a sight to behold. Anyways, waxed on that.
That was the most, of course, NDSU pulls this out.
Oh my gosh. I know.
Of course, they pull a rabbit out of the hat. Think about SDSU now.
Of course, because I tuned in right when it all happened, of course. I'm like, oh, NDSU's losing. I'm going to tune in just in time to see him win. I was like, well, my bad.
Yeah. And you're just really hoping because you're like, okay, the 1 and 2 seed are up for grabs. Like that's the most prized possession in the playoffs. If you can get home field advantage to Frisco, and win losses like that, just like you need that to happen. And they didn't lose, and I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding? Chances of getting an onside kick are very low. So,
well, SDSU looked kind of mediocre against their D2 team, I think. So I'm surprised MSU didn't jump anybody, but
MSU gained, I think, one more first place vote. We're still at number 3. Idaho moved up to number 4. I guess they were at number. Yeah, they were at 4 last week. They have now 3 first place votes. Montana State has 7. Villanova still staying at number 5. South Dakota, number 6. Southern Illinois, number 7. Central Arkansas, number 8. I thought this was interesting. Montana moved from number 8 down to number 9, even after waxing Monmouth. And yeah, that's just weird. I've never seen a team win such big in such like defeating fashion, or not defeating fashion, but like so. What am I trying to say? They just kicked so
I'm not
much
sure.
ass, and they still went down. And I was like, how does that happen? Is what's going on here? So yeah. So there's your top 10, or excuse me, North Dakota comes in at top 10. Sac State's number 11. They were there last week. Davis moves up, which I kind of thought that was interesting. They moved up 2 spots. They were 15. They're up to 13. I'm not impressed with Davis all that much, to be honest with you. Let's see.
Make that make sense about North Dakota being a spot behind Montana.
Yeah, I know, right?
I saw that and I was like, really? I saw some UND people were complaining about that too.
U Albany, who played Idaho and just got boat raced by Idaho, they dropped from 17 to 20. I wasn't really impressed with those guys. Like, I know they got highly ranked after last year's debut in the playoffs, but they lost a lot of starters, according to Coulter. Like 18 of their starters left, and so they didn't look very good. And then I don't know if anybody else. Weber State's getting some
They
votes.
lost to Lamar.
Yeah, Lamar's ranked now 22.
Yeah, because they beat Weber State.
They were not ranked last week, so Weber drops out of there. I was going to say Southern Utah. Southern Utah's not even in the conference anymore. Northern Arizona, they're starting to get some votes. Their team, I think, that could easily get into the top 25 if they continue to play how they're playing.
Do you want to know why anyone can get in the top 25? Because there's only like 10 good teams in the entire subdivision.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like.
And I'm going to bring that up in my argument later on.
Oh, okay.
Be prepared. Take notes.
Are we going to talk about Portland State's great game? Have you ever seen anything like that?
I don't even know what you're talking. I didn't catch any games this week. Out of town.
They didn't have a game. They got canceled.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Whooping cough.
Whooping cough.
And then somebody online says there's like a
this?
vaccine for that. Is there a vaccine for whooping cough?
I'm not a doctor. I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure, yes. Because I told my mom about it. She's like, oh, yeah, we gave you whooping cough vaccines when you were a kid.
You
couldn't get into public school without whooping cough vaccines.
That was just the most bizarre story of the weekend from the FCS. It's like, wait, what? And then I also was like, how did Portland State get South Dakota to go there for a home game?
That's a good point.
And they didn't tell South Dakota until they landed either.
Yeah. Weren't they on the field warming up?
Mad about it. I don't know if it got that far, but...
You think Barney took them all to Deschutes Brewing? Just took over.
The whooping cough. Man,
hey, man, downtown Portland, anything goes.
That's true.
Gosh, that's so lame.
That was such a bizarre story.
All right. So that's the top 25. We really want North Dakota State to lose. They look different to me. North Dakota State I don't know. This always happens, right? You start the season,
you trick yourself into thinking that they're not the same team.
Yeah, and that's what happened with Montana last year after Northern Arizona. You're like, oh no, they just continue to get slightly better.
There's a long time before playoff time.
Yeah,
a lot of football left to be played.
Yeah, for sure. All righty. Well, I think we should go into Coach Vegan's presser.
Shall we start with the good stuff?
And now, Bobcat fans, it's time for F&F Fashion Watch, brought to you by Foley and Fisher, the only two that seem to really care what Brent Vegan is wearing at his press conference.
I wonder if Roger Fisher still appreciates this or not.
Roger, if you're listening, Twitter tomorrow, post a picture of you wearing a pocket square.
Of bologna, please.
Made out of bologna, yes.
Let's see. Coach wore a stylish blue on blue plaid-like suit. It was a subtle, kind of checkered pattern. It was dapper. A white press shirt and a gold and white crosshatch tie. No pocket square, no baloney. There it is.
Nicely done.
Well done.
I've gotten to the point where I just close my eyes and just imagine it because I don't watch them. I don't watch the press conferences, so I just
Coach
trying to paint
wears a
picture.
lot of crosshatch patterns. Like on his tie, he always has a pattern on his tie. Rarely do you see him with a solid color tie. And he has a couple suits with these subtle patterns, not just, full on navy or full on black. But one thing I will always give to Coach, he does a good job of incorporating the Bobcat colors with various different combos of shirts and ties and jackets. And, I think that's pretty cool. Like he does pay attention to it. He's not just wearing, something random out there. He looks like a Montana State coach with the Montana State colors.
I had to have asked this at some point. Do you think he does it? Or is it like Miss Vegan?
Molly?
I was wondering, I'm like, does he have a sponsorship with a tailor in town or something like that? Or if there is a tailor in town, they're missing the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you want a guy representing your work, your craft, put it on Brent Vegan.
I feel like that's a missed opportunity for somebody.
But you can't have a guy in a sponsored tailor suit in front of a background with a crumple in it, people. Okay? It's just not going to work.
Says the guy who's not watching the pressers in video form.
I just want to make sure that we talk about the wrinkled background in every single episode. Which I started seeing.
I started watching with my fingers crossed, hoping his first words would be pocket square baloney or baloney pocket square.
All right,
just
well,
like
first
just
things
like
first.
just like
It's
faint.
good to get
Like,
back to
oh
pocket
my
square
gosh.
baloney.
Pocket square baloney.
Coach, if you're listening, it's still out there. It's going to be on the table. Baloney, it's still the same word, man.
What's in
Or
it for him
pocket
again?
square. Just pat the pocket square.
What's in it for Brent Vegan?
Yeah, go with the square fold.
Okay,
it's gonna match your jaw. Let's do
all
it.
right. So, what happened in the press conference?
Yeah, not a lot. He talked about recruiting. People talked about what was like some stuff on the O line. So apparently, we're getting a couple guys back on the O line. Looks like Connor Moore's going back to left tackle. Burke Mastel and JT Reed are both back, so that will be the left guard. There's some questions about Cole Sane, and he was pretty effusive about his praise for Cole Sane being like a 7th-year senior. Apparently, the dude's already got his master's degree.
Yeah,
And I thought that was pretty.
I heard that.
I was like, good for
geez.
Cole. Good job, man. Way to get it all done when you're there. That's really awesome. And there was a little bit of talk about Marcus Ware moving back to tackle if Justice Perkins comes back, or when Justice Perkins comes back. And so, yeah, that was it. He talked.
Well, the other thing
bit.
he said about the offensive line was we're in a position where we can play like 6 or 7 guys.
Yep.
Which is kind of interesting. Or like shuffle guys in. It's kind of interesting.
This may also, like the early season injury stuff, just, man, it could be a total blessing at the end of the year with the amount of playing time and stuff. And I know I saw on Twitter, or X now, a couple of the pushes from the
Twitter,
first
please.
half. Twitter, sorry.
We're Twitter on this podcast.
A couple of the pushes that they had of the plays of just our offensive line just pushing dudes 7-8 yards down the field. And it's like, man, that's our backup offensive line for the most part. And we're still getting that push. And I know Maine's, nothing to write home about, but just seeing that and getting that experience. And I feel more confident now seeing this with our offensive line and just kind of confidence with our offense in general with these last 3 weeks.
That's a good point.
Looks like on the depth chart as well, Paul Brott is interchangeable with Sebastian Val.
Nope, he plays for the Huskies.
Again, the 3rd week in the row.
He's not anywhere. Why? There's nothing visually.
It's almost like it's like the yip I have now, because I looked at it. It was like, okay, don't say Sebastian Valdez, and it was like Blake Schmidt, and then
once you start internalizing, don't do this, then you're gonna do that.
Seabass in the room with us right now.
Yeah. I wish. Missed that guy.
Blake Schmidt and Paul Brott, Hugh said that was more of a nod to Paul Brott than anything Blake Schmidt had to do. So that's pretty cool to hear that. Looks like Taki Yu is on the free safety as the second string. So everybody wondering about his injury over last game. So that was kind of decided right there. So
And
there's
then,
a little bit more, but I'm going to withhold because it's on conference realignment, and I know we want to get into that a little bit later.
Sure. I mean, the other things I guess we could mention was just he did give a little update on Drew Pollard and Julius Davis. They're both like hoping to get into practice here in the next week, and then maybe a couple more weeks to get up to game speed. So I took that as like still 3 weeks away. It's kind of how I did the math on that.
It's got to be like more like 4 or 5.
Could be 4, yeah, like 3 weeks minimum. So, but good news, progressing.
All right.
And the other thing I do want to say this: he really harped on the one game mentality when you're talking about Mercyhurst. Like, you never know what a team's motivations are, all these things. And like, we've been focusing on this, taking one step at a time kind of thing since January. And I felt that a lot more this year. I talked about that last year. I think they got a little confident after we talked about this even earlier in this season podcasting, how they got a little more confident after South Dakota State and all that stuff. And then they're really focusing on not letting that happen this year. So I don't think they're going to overlook anybody. It's just interesting. Coach kind of brought it up again.
I was surprised how much time he spent on that, kind of reflecting on last year. Like, he spent a lot of time kind of discussing how things ended last year and how much that stuck with this year's team. I was a little surprised. Like, he almost like got like not sentimental, but he almost like paused a little bit with it. And I was like, oh, wow, he's really like, they took this really to heart over the offseason, which was good to see.
Love it.
He stands for his press conferences. Would you stand or would you sit?
I'd probably stand. Yeah.
You'd probably stand?
I talk a lot better when I'm standing.
Okay.
Like I have the juices are flowing mentally. Like I can just better. Like when I'm on phone calls, I like to stand and pace a lot. So I'm a stander.
Coach Choate sat. He always had that little card he wrote his notes on. I think I'd sit. Just an observation.
Okay.
All right, Zach, tell us about Gold Rush. We're all jealous.
All right. Well, awesome pregame experience. It's always cool. I think we do a great job. The moment that really got me is they did a 10-second countdown on the new scoreboard before they played kind of the pre-intro video.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as that thing hit 0, it went with have you guys seen what the video was, or did you guys see that at all?
Yeah,
I don't
Bill
think
Collar.
I have actually.
Yes, the Bill Collar video.
Mm-hmm.
It's on YouTube. You can go look it up now. But I think 406 Sports put it out there. But the screen goes blank for a second, and it just has the announcer from the 1984 semifinal game that goes, and now look at him in Bozeman. And it was chills. That video was just chills. And just the crowd's reaction to that was the first time I think everybody truly heard the new sound system, the new scoreboard, that whole experience. It just kind of lit up like, oh man, here we go. And then they go from that video straight to the team running on the field. And when they open the doors, there's a quick pause, and then Tommy comes around the corner and puts on his helmet and kind of leads the team out. And the just eruption from that was like, oh man, if you were a recruit right now and you just see that eruption, it was insane. It was a goosebumps moment. It was one of the biggest chills I'd gotten. And I just was like, Maine's got no chance at that point. That was the point. I was like, they're going to run it. This is going to not be good. Like it was just a moment. I was like, I was feeling confident going in, but that moment of that video and that run out with that crowd, it just, man, they had no chance.
That's, gosh, I want to go back so bad. Did not being able to see like the video run out.
I don't know.
Yeah,
stuff. I don't know if Maine, even if you would have put one of the Dakota States on the field, if you would have put an FBS team on the field, I would have still said, good luck. Good luck with this crowd. Good luck with how amped up this building is, how much momentum is in this stadium right now. Like, good luck.
Oh, thank you.
Because it was fired
it just makes
up.
me sad.
Sorry, but no. Great updates to the stadium. That video board is first class. It's beautiful. Just what it can do, what it brings to the environment. Yeah, it's awesome.
How did the parking lot feel now that's all paved? Is it? I know you live over there, so you feel it all the time. But did it have a distinct different flavor for the game?
It looks it looks really nice. It felt emptier. Like I felt like the tailgates were like more spread out. With the
Mm.
old one, it was just kind of just everybody clumped in everywhere. It felt a little more spread out that way. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a nice thing. It makes it look more professional. I think it's going to be great during the winter. That's what I'm looking forward to because
Yeah.
I mean that parking lot gets so sloppy sometimes,
It does,
especially when it
yeah.
rains. That's going to be super nice.
Agreed. Big upgrade. I can't wait to get back to check it out. Foley, you might actually go back.
Yeah, I was just reminiscing the last time Thorny and I was back at Gold Rush, we got kicked out of the press box
You got kicked out
for cheering.
You got kicked out for cheering.
I couldn't help it. I forgot I got scolded twice. But the guy was like, "You can't cheer." And I was like, I looked at Thorny, I go, "I gotta get out of here, man." And I like, it was super cool to be up there and like see the 100-yard American flag that they
Yeah.
displayed and the whole thing. And then the fan in me took over and I was like, holy cow. Yeah, it was an amazing moment. Yeah. But yeah, Thorny's right. I think I'm going to I gotta come. I think I have to. I think I'm gonna come October 12th.
Hell yeah, man.
Idaho.
Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't get kicked out of the New Mexico press box because they had this is funny. So we had our we were in our box. The box next to us to the right was the New Mexico radio broadcast. And then on the box of the other side of them was our broadcast with Keaton. And there's like glass panels, so you can see all the way down through the press boxes if you just look to your right. So at the end of the game, our guys are currently off the air. We're celebrating like crazy, and the New Mexico broadcast is on air. And both sides are just pounding the glass, just fist bumping, just losing it. And I felt so bad for the New Mexico radio guys having to call that collapse. And we're just like, oh my God, just losing it, just getting screaming. I was like, oh man, I was going to go look for it on the New Mexico radio broadcast to see if we could hear just the sadness in their voices because they just were looking at us, both sides, like, what is going on?
Now I want to go see if there's like a archived version of that call. See if we can hear the cheering from the Bobcat people.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. I wonder if they do like a video one like Keaton puts up there.
You can see it. I went back and looked at Keaton and stuff, and you can see them giving us the salutes and fist pumping at us. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Sounds like those guys would be like in the penalty box at a hockey game, and you guys are like the fans banging on the glass behind.
Yeah,
them.
that's a great analogy. That's literally what it was. I felt so bad for those poor guys.
They knew what the job was when they signed up.
Yeah.
Man, I say it over and over again, but just from afar, even Gold Rush is so unique and so awesome. It's Zach, you talked to me, I think like a day after, or maybe even that day. Like you said, like basketball recruits were there, football
Yeah.
recruits, of course, just dotting the sidelines in. It's a sight to behold. Like if you do not want to become a Bobcat after going to that game, I don't know what to tell you at that point. Like, and then couple that, like we said on last week, go take a campus tour, see what's going up around campus. Holy cow, go hang out in Bozeman for the night, go get dinner. Holy cow. Like,
well, we had a basketball player
commit
today.
We had a commit today.
Who
Yeah.
was in town for Gold Rush.
Gold Rush.
And what, 3 football commits came in the several days after Gold
I
Rush?
had 3 or 4. It was it just was a slew of them. So
once one did it, there was like a domino. Yeah,
cleaning up.
The best recruiting tool we have, I would say, is just get them. Like Jeff Troy said, just get them to Bozeman. Just get them into Bozeman. I'll sell it. But get them to Gold Rush, sells itself.
All right. Let's talk conference realignment.
Oh, we're
that's
jumping right into it. Okay.
I think so, because I think that's where Coach Vegan, his press conference, he had a strong statement on that. And I think I'll just read it right now. So he said, it was a question from Coulter on, kind of like the dominoes falling around. the Mountain West, the Pac-12. I'm trying to realign, and Coach paused, and he said, strategically, I feel strongly that our administration is going to have the most aggressive approach possible. If you've listened to this podcast, Thorny and I have been pro move up for since day one. And I took that as Leon and company positioning themselves to make that if the invite is there.
That jump just comes with so much extra commitment and so much extra stuff to do. And I don't want to doubt it. I just don't see the reality of it.
It's just such an interesting thing for him to say. Like, he didn't have to say that. That was like a specific word choice, and I was just I don't know what to make of it. It may mean maybe it's nothing, but it was a very deliberate choice of words by Coach Vegan.
If you don't know what we're talking about, by the way, Boise State,
Colorado
State, Fresno State, and San Diego State all jumped. They'll be going to the Pac-12 in 2026. Sounds like Air Force is probably headed out the door to the American Conference, probably. I mean,
which is where Army and Navy are, I believe. Yeah. So get all the service academies back together, get the band back together.
You guys knew I ran for Air Force for a year, right? I went to the academy.
You ran like track?
I was on the track and cross country team at Air Force for a year.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Air Force going to the
very
American
small cup of coffee at the academy before I decided to, go a different route militarily wise and enlist. But anyway, I did compete in the Mountain West. Saying compete, did not really compete. I was on the team.
It's impressive.
But yeah, it's going to be weird. That conference is weird. I remember my high school recruiting, thinking about the Mountain West. I was looking at a couple Mountain West schools, and that's going to be a different conference now. That's going to be odd.
Conferences mean nothing anymore.
No.
I just don't see how Montana is not in the Mountain West in the next 5 years. I don't see how that's not an option at this point.
Well, what is the Mountain West in 5 years?
It
might dissolve by the end of the week. Every team left in the Mountain West might find a different conference. Mountain West might be done. I think that's equally as likely, if not more likely, than
that is true. The American could swallow the rest of them up. We don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be like who's even left? It's going to be like
so I have written down here probably the four most attractive besides probably UNLV, but I don't think any shot. I think they'll probably get a Pac-12 invite just location wise.
Got to get the market. TV market.
The four that I think Bobcat fans should care about and really pay attention to are Nevada, New Mexico, Utah State, and Wyoming.
Yep.
Those are the four schools that I think what they end up doing will be the biggest impact on the Montana schools and the Big Sky.
I mean, I've seen Wyoming fans talking about moving down to the FCS.
Yep. So anyway, I just came up with some numbers. I was super curious today. Probably should have been paying more attention in class, but lecture hall stuff. I wrote down real quick. I'll just run through numbers. I picked the top four biggest endowments in the Big Sky, and then I picked those four Mountain West schools I just listed off. MSU 17, little under 17K enrollment, 232 million endowment. UM 10K, 242. Idaho 12K, 465 million.
Yeah,
endowment.
Idaho has a big endowment.
Yeah. Weber 30K students, 219 endowment. Those are the only four schools that are over 200 million in endowment. And then you look at those other four. I just want to see the comparison. Nevada 21K, they're 458 million. New Mexico 22K, 661 million. Utah State is 28K students, 538. And then Wyoming's the biggest they have only 11,000 students, but 578 million in endowment. So there's a gap money-wise. Student-wise, not so much, but money-wise, there's a bit of a gap.
Okay, well, what's Boise State's endowment?
I didn't look at them because they're off to the Pac-12, and I didn't care about them.
153.
Are they seriously 153?
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
So,
well,
not
don't care
about the endowment, buddy.
That's a lot of money, though. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the financial piece is definitely, I think, the biggest hurdle. I just
we
think the money
we would
can
have
be
to add
found.
more sports.
Had to add like what, one men's sport?
One men's sport, one women's. Who knows anymore? That's another question. Is you get into the NCAA involvement with the House and scholarships, and nobody knows what's going to happen with that.
I mean, that's the biggest pro of
Hurdle.
waiting for me, is to see what happens with all that, because that could drastically change everything for everybody. And that's
Fully, what do you
that's
got?
definitely a stay in the same spot and wait, see what happens point.
I don't know what. I don't have really much anything besides just feelings.
I just like where we are. We the biggest thing for me is the football team since 2019 has unparalleled success in 25 years.
Okay.
I mean, before this, we could count how many FCS FCS playoff wins we had on one hand since 1984.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like we've got ourselves in a good spot. The basketball team's in a good spot. Everything's in a good spot right now, and I understand things are shaking up, but why not just ride the ship? My biggest thing is I don't want to lose the playoffs. If the other schools break off, the group of 5 and the Power 5 break off, and there's some kind of playoff, I just don't have, my interest would wane a little bit if we were looking at playing in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. If that was the best, I mean, that's the ceiling. Look at Wyoming. What's their ceiling every year for football?
So
right now?
who's to say that the group of 5 wouldn't make it playoff?
Then that's a different conversation. I think I'm more in on that. But
Okay.
I would not want to go without that guarantee.
I agree. Right now, we are in a good spot, but go back to the beginning of this podcast, and we were looking at the FCS football rankings. How many teams are actually where we are at, institutional wise, fan base? It's the top 4: South Dakota State, North Dakota State, Montana State. Montana's number 9,
Maybe
but still,
Idaho.
yeah.
But you could also make that case for the top schools of the FBS. It's going to be Georgia, Ohio State, and Alabama every year.
Mm-hmm.
I guess,
and then at the Power 5 level, it's going to be Boise State. What? Boise State's going to be up there. Who else is also up there every year? That's like, oh, you got to pencil them in.
I think just as a fan, I'd be more interested in playing Wyoming than Northern Arizona, Northern Colorado, Cal Poly. I would like for us to have Nevada come in, play Jeff Choate over in Reno. That'd be fun. I just think there's some good, like-minded schools where I think the levels for athletics would be very comparable. Not only that, I mean, we're looking through it through the lens of football right now. We're talking more spots in the NCAA tournament for basketball as well. A better conference for basketball.
It depends how that conference stays intact.
Okay,
Things have changed.
I guess
San Diego
where Ryan
State's
Floyd
gone.
kind of lines on this is I just don't want to miss the boat for a good opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, hey, let's just stay in the FCS because we can win a championship, and then we're playing Lamar and University of whoever, right? So I want to position, as Leon has always said, position ourselves best to make the best decision possible.
I think my dream situation. Now, this would never happen unless the other schools realized what Idaho realized. Is if you could take the Montana schools, you could take Idaho and Weber and maybe Sac State, take the top 5 kind of schools in the Big Sky, and you can boot a lot of you can get rid of Northern Colorado, you get rid of Portland State, you get rid of Cal Poly and Davis, and go tell them to go play and do all their sports in one conference. And you brought in 4 or 5 of those schools, and you played in. If those schools played in FCS schedule, it would be awesome. Now they're never going to drop down, but I would love that. Would be so cool if those schools realized, hey, we can play for something meaningful. We can give our fans something. I mean, look, Idaho's got a renaissance in football because of what they realized. That they could be competitive at this level, they could be in the playoffs, and they could be a top 5 team. And that's not going to be everyone, but they were for 25 years in just football wasteland.
Yeah,
I feel bad for New Mexico. I feel bad for Utah State. I feel bad for those schools because what have they done? What do their fans look forward to? 8:30 games on CBS Sports Network at night where nobody's in the crowd. That's what it's been at the top of the Mountain West, and it sucks.
No, like their best TV deal is a weird 8:30 time slot. But The way I'm kind of envisioning things now is I think Montana State should be in the second best whatever subdivision or version of football there is, because the dichotomy is so much higher and drastic than it ever has been. The FCS, I think, used to be probably this number 2, but it's not really anymore. It's so watered down with so many teams moving up. Now that's kind of transferred up into the bottom of the FBS, and the bottom of the FBS is like the new kind of second best. I don't know. I just want MSU to be in a conference and in a subdivision where other programs take it seriously. You look around the FCS, 75% of the subdivision doesn't really care about football. They're like they're fielding a football team for, I don't even know why, to be honest. Like, why is a team like Mercyhurst just moving up into FCS? What is the point of a private Roman Catholic school with like 2,800 students in a stadium that you said holds 500 people? What's the point of going to D1? They can't afford that.
Know. I'm just glad.
No point.
Yeah, I'm just glad we have a replacement game this week. I'm still upset about the Stephen F. Austin thing.
But I'm sick of being in the same like subdivision with entire conferences that don't even hand out scholarships. They don't take it seriously. They don't take football seriously. Montana State takes football seriously. They take all their athletics very seriously. And only a handful of teams in the entire FCS or even in the Big Sky Conference take it seriously. And it's just, I don't know. I'm getting a little too big for my britches is what it's coming down to.
What would it mean for the rest of our athletics?
I'll put it this way. New Mexico's NIL for basketball is 3 times more than what all MSU coaches make.
Yeah, but you're comparing us to like one of the premier mid-major programs of all time.
Mid-major. Still, it would take a lot of commitment from the state level to get us financially there as well as competitive. I also worry about, we got a lot of recruits coming in. I mean, it's still getting them to Bozeman's awesome. Getting recruits here is still difficult, and you're going to have to raise your recruiting profile quite a bit if you move up too.
I mean, the biggest downside for me is the Montana kids.
Yep.
You probably can't have as many on the team anymore. And losing that piece would be pretty miserable, I think.
That'd be tough for a lot of people in the state, I think.
The guys that are now scholarship, maybe they're the new walk-ons, and the guys that are the walk-ons probably never even come here anymore.
Yeah.
So there's definitely that piece that's pretty sad to think about. I mean, that's the reason that Montana and Montana State are always going to be pretty good at football, because we are like the high school system here is like a farm league for the Bobcats and the Grizzlies. You're always going to have a talent of pretty good FCS caliber players, like always. They're always going to want to play here.
Yep.
Do you think Montana and Montana State are yoked in this?
Yes, 100%.
Thorny?
Yes.
Okay.
Border
it's Wild
regions.
West, guys.
Yeah. Uncharted territory. It's weird.
West. Yeah, Montana State can file a lawsuit and somehow sue the state of Montana, sue the border regions, sue the Department of...
Nothing makes sense anymore. My brain
makes
hurts.
sense anymore, man.
Seeing all these other FCS schools move up, like Sam Houston and JMU and Kennesaw State.
See, that's what's frustrating to me.
It doesn't make sense. And
we're such a better everything than them, and they're gone.
I think the Bobcats would be a top, 3-team, maybe conference champ of the Sun Belt, though. I mean, that's a joke conference. The Sun Belt and Conference USA are kind of a joke.
Yeah.
There's even a split at that level.
I want to play Wyoming on a regular basis. I'd love to play Boise State once in a while. I would love to play Nevada.
Even like San Jose State coming into...
I'd like to play San Jose State. I just don't want to play. I think playing a game like New Mexico every year is perfect and awesome. I don't want to play Power 5 teams. I'm done with that. I don't care about that. I don't want to go in for a payday. I don't think we need the paydays.
No.
I saw what, North Dakota State did with Colorado. I saw South Dakota State went and played Oklahoma State. Good for them. Those games, that's the thing I probably hate the most about college football. I love college football, but those money games where they send those FCS teams in to play those big schools like that, I hate it. I hate it so much. It's
So
a joke.
The thing is, so you're trading a fun postseason that you're not guaranteed to ever be in. Program like Montana State, probably the way we are now, probably going to be there every single year.
Yeah.
You're trading that for what I would consider a more exciting regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
And that's
what we're-
guaranteed. Like you're guaranteed to have better opponents in the regular season.
In
Period.
a destination bowl.
You're not guaranteed to have the playoffs.
Get 6
Yeah, but-
wins. We can go. Thorny, you and I booking tickets. Zach, we're booking tickets to go down to Louisiana or something like that.
I got to be honest. I don't think I would.
Oh,
Yeah, why? You wouldn't go.
In an
You
instant
wouldn't go
you
watch.
would.
I'd have a harder time doing that on a 6-6. It just doesn't mean as much. There's no victory.
Doesn't matter.
Of it.
You just,
Win or
hey,
lose.
You're not going
it's
to go
like,
watch
okay,
a
it's
7-5
vacation,
Bobcat
but-
team go play a 7-5 Arkansas State team in like Tulane or something crazy.
Yeah.
Probably not. No,
Oh, man.
probably not.
I'm going.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going. And we're calling you and be like, Zach, you're
Okay.
coming with us. And you're like, we're going to have a good time down in the South. Of course we're going to do that.
Yeah.
And next year we'll be like, all right, we're going down to Boise because we're in the Potato Bowl,
The
like
potato
everybody
bowl.
likes to say.
I just
8-4
I have
Montana State
no-
versus 8-4 Akron in like Indianapolis. I'm
All
going.
right, so Zach, what if we are over here and we have 4 losses, but we're still going, hey, maybe Hawaii's on the docket if we make this bowl, or maybe we can go down to Vegas in this bowl. And so there is some excitement. Maybe it's not the national championship. I do predict, this is Ryan Foley just speaking, that this group of 5 will eventually have a playoff. I was reading an article today about the 12-team playoff for the Power 5, and man, it's going to take off like wildfire. We all know this because we all lived in the FCS. It's just going to take over, and then you're right, they will split off, and 10 years, whatever happens, the group of 5 will have its own version of that. I have to believe that. It'd be
That's
silly
the-
not
yeah.
to.
Yeah, it's silly. I think the group of 5 should, but like, man, I just go back to my days when I was at Air Force and we played in the Armed Forces Bowl. We played in some of those things, and it's a little different because that's a service academy and the fandom's a little, different that wise. But just nobody cared. There was zero care around that school from the students or anybody else that we were playing in some 6-6 bowl game.
Yeah, but think
The
about
Armed
this.
Forces Bowl. It was just it sucked.
I get it, man.
Yeah.
But think about this, like as far as just not football, but I mean, you go to all the basketball games. You run the
Yeah.
basketball arm.
And I go to Boise and stuff, but yeah.
Nevada comes in, Utah State comes in, Boise State comes into Bozeman, and it doesn't have to be something like a miracle for that to happen. Those are just the teams we play. That's filling up the brick.
Yes, and that's the thing, but also I think that would make even though there's more spots potentially if we join for March Madness, I still think it would be more difficult for MSU to make the tournament than at the current point. You win Boise
Initially, yes, maybe. But look
that's
look
still,
at
that's
Bozeman.
still an
Who wouldn't
if.
want to come to Bozeman to play? It's like the campus sells itself. Montana State is so primed right now.
It is, but I
On-
love the
on
brick. It's just it's not. Look at again. Go back to New Mexico. They have 45 suites in their thing. They hold 15,000 people. They put 15,000 people in that thing for almost every game. Their women get 6,000 people. It's a different level.
Yeah.
And we would again, a lot of commitment, a lot of money, a lot of fan stuff. Not saying we can't get there. It's just very, very difficult to get to that level. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I just just sounds more fun to me
Okay.
at this point.
Sorry. Sorry to be the downer on this.
No,
but-
absolutely.
His name is Zach Levier.
Yeah, again.
All hate
I'm
mail goes.
going to open Twitter tomorrow.
I mean, I'm happy enough where the Bobcats are. I'll
Yeah.
always be happy in this level of football,
Are you?
but I'll always be wanting more. I'll
Are
always
you?
just
'Cause
kind of be wanting
I
more.
tuned into Northern Colorado and it didn't look fun, man. Like that's the level we're at. Is
Jeez.
Northern Colorado has Big Sky logo on their field, and I looked around and it looked like CMR has more fans at their stadium
they
at
do.
Memorial Stadium in Great
They
Falls than Northern
and they have a
Colorado
nicer
has.
stadium too.
Yeah.
I'm not disputing that level of the Big Sky is awful, and I don't like
But
that.
the entire
That's-
subdivision
yeah.
is populated with that kind of crap.
yeah.
There's dozens of schools like Northern Colorado all over
Yeah.
the FCS.
I just wish
landscape.
people cared as much as we did. I just wish people cared as much as we did. That's the biggest thing.
All right. Put
All
a
right.
pin in it, fellas,
Yeah.
because this isn't going away.
Nope. I don't know. I get excited every time the conference realignment starts to shuffle.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
is it
I do
finally
too.
happening?
I do too.
Is it happening?
I do too.
So I like the drama at this point.
It has made college football and college basketball 365-day a year sports, which is crazy because you used to have an off season and now it's like this is year round. It's year round drama.
That's true.
You got
Thorny-
the transfer portal, you got NIL, you got conference realignment, you got coaches, the coaching carousel. It's 365-day drama for dudes.
Thorny,
Okay.
remember talking to that Wyoming guy? And
Yeah.
I asked him, I was like, hey, any chance you think Montana State's going to come to the Mountain West anytime soon? And he was like flabbergasted. He was like, what?
No, not a chance, man. Yeah, I forgot about that guy.
It's weird for them to think about what they're going to do because we can sit back a little bit and yes, we can move up, but we got we're comfortable at the moment. They are not comfortable over there in Laramie
Sure.
and Logan and stuff.
Bobcats are just sitting there watching everybody else squirm.
Yeah.
It'd
a
be
nice
so much
cushy-
fun if Wyoming came to Bozeman to play a football game. Those guys came in.
It'd be so fun to have Jeff Cho back here on the other sideline. That would be, you imagine that game? That would be awesome.
Holy cow.
Be
I
awesome
can't
to watch us
actually.
run
That
the
would
ball
be-
down
that-
Jeff
that would
Choate's
blow my
throat
mind.
for 4 quarters.
What would that
Ah.
post-game interview be like?
I don't know. I'd pay to attend.
The thought crossed my mind. I was like, what if we were all in the same conference? Let's call it the Mountain West, for lack of a better foresight right now. And he goes, well, shit. Montana State is in the Mountain West, and now I'm coaching in Reno. And he goes, he has a realization of,
Nope, I thought about that. It'd be pretty funny if we all up in the same conference. But he'll still get a bigger paycheck than he'll ever get. Montana State, though.
yeah. All right.
So, real quick, I just pulled it up. They played Georgia Southern 2 weeks ago. Nevada did. Guess the attendance at Nevada.
6,700.
16,000. That's the announced attendance. I'm sure
Yeah,
that
it's
wasn't
BS.
there,
I saw the highlights of that game. There was nobody there.
but...
They almost lost that game, didn't they?
Yeah.
Or did they
No,
lose?
they lost it.
Yeah, they lost to
They
Georgia
did lose.
Southern. It was interesting seeing Georgia Southern. I'm like, man, I haven't seen Georgia Southern.
Yeah, that's
You
a
haven't heard much
throwback.
about them since they left FCS.
Yeah.
They faded into an FBS mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
I know that both them and App State had some really good years when they first went up, and then I think they kind of both have
I feel like
fizzled.
App State has been kind of a success story of going
Yeah,
up
they
a
have.
little bit.
I was looking at
They
them.
invested a little more.
I was
Yeah.
checking them out. They played in some sort of avocados from Mexico Bowl last year against Miami of Ohio.
The
And
Bobcat.
there was like 11,000 people in some sort of, I don't remember what the game was played, but yeah, 11,000 people at a New Mexico or a Mexico avocado bowl. So that's Montana State's future right there.
Oh, that sounds so awful to me. But you like it. That just sounds terrible.
Is it any
I just
different
don't
than
want to
like
be stuck
going
in
on?
the FCS where we're
Yeah.
like trying to get to the national championship and we're competing against the same 3 schools every year to get to it, and everybody else is just dog crap.
Yeah.
That's what
So-
I
It's
don't
agreeable.
want.
We did. I did find this kind of funny. Not funny, but we sold out the Mercyhurst game this week, guys. I mean,
We're selling out
fandom
against
wise,
anybody.
yeah. I mean, that's still 22,000 people. The student tickets sold out in 20 minutes. Again, that's still awesome for our fan base. That everybody knows the outcome of that game, but for our fans to do that, that's just typically capped to Bobcat Nation. Who's got a fire alarm?
Ooh, my fire alarm's going off. Hold on. You guys keep talking.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we continue to talk about.
So I got a question for you about Tommy Malofton. So let's
Okay.
talk a little bit about Mercyhurst since Thorny's
Since
trying
Thorny
to
wants
put...
zero part of the Mercyhurst conversation. I think he started a fire in his house just so he didn't have to talk about Mercyhurst.
Oh my word. 7 years doing this podcast. It's the first time I've heard that. Okay. Oh, I got a buy or sell for you. Okay. So
All right,
Tommy,
give it to me.
Let's see. Tommy hits 2 or more. Well, no, okay. Hold on. Let me see how I say this. Buy or sell. Tommy throws over 100 yards in 3 or less possessions. Drives.
Throws over 100 yards in 3 or less drives.
Yeah. I'm predicting he's going to play 3 or less drives. kind of a bold
Okay.
prediction, and he will throw over 100 yards in those 3 drives.
I'm going to say sell because I think there's going to be Scott Ray or Adam Jones up the middles that just blow this thing open.
So where I was coming from that is I think
That's a
they're
good
going
one,
to-
though. That's a good one.
I think they're going to take this game. Yes, I do believe you're right. If Adam Jones and Scott Ray Humphrey don't actually ruin my prediction by running 75-yard plus touchdowns, which they have a penchant too. I think they should try to get Tommy to go over the top. Try to develop that deep passing game that's kind of eluding us because we haven't had to use it. So,
Well, kind of along the same lines, I really want to see the backup quarterbacks, see what they can do. I think Coach Vegan put it in as the second stringer is an or. So it's either Reed or Wilson on the depth chart.
Yeah.
Reed hasn't shown me anything in this season and last season, and especially with no Sean Chambers, no cushion there. I get it. We're handing the ball off. There hasn't been opportunities for him to run the offense as much as we'd like to see. I want to see him run the offense. I want to see him throw the ball. I want to see him go out there. What I have seen so far from him, in my blunt honesty, is he doesn't roll out fakes. He just kind of hands the ball off and stands there. He's had some balls in the dirt. I want to see him throw the ball. I want to see him drop back. I want to see him work on some things. I need to see him show me something in this game. I want to see him run the offense effectively. And then for Wilson, same deal. He's the freshman. I want to see what he's got too. But for Reed, I think this is a big game for him to show what he has. And I understand maybe he'll be playing with the twos and we'll have a lot of guys off the field and there'll be some clunky stuff. But I need to see him air it out. I need to see what he has.
I don't know what you guys were talking about. I'm back now from the fire alarm escapade.
Did you start a fire? Did not talk about this game?
No. Oh, beep, beep, gotta go. Yeah, that's just me making a really good beep noise. My bold prediction was that somebody besides Tommy Malott throws a touchdown pass in this game.
Ooh, I like that.
It's really not that bold.
Could be a running back, but
it's really not that bold.
I mean,
Well, when's the last
how
time
many
that
drives
happened?
do you think Tommy
Mr.
Malott's going to
Not
play,
Bold
Thorny?
Man.
By yourself, Tommy Malott plays more than 4 drives.
Bye.
Whoa.
It's not very many drives.
No, but yeah, I mean, that's 28.
How many
That's not
drives do we
that's
have
not
during
even
the
the
game?
halftime.
Maybe 8 at most?
No, more than that.
10.
No. Offensive drives? I mean, we have last week.
A lot. There was a lot of punts in that game late.
No.
Well, every one of those touchdowns is a drive, so do the math.
Yeah. So at least 5 plus the 2 field goals, 6, 7.
Box score. Good podcasting right
Dude,
now.
Are we
guys.
talking about Mercyhurst now?
Doing research. Yeah, we just moved on to that. We were doing some buy and sells.
Do you know who a famous alumni of Mercyhurst is? I'll do some trivia while Foley looks that up.
I didn't know the school existed, I'll be honest, till we scheduled this game.
Buster Douglas of Mike
Really?
Tyson, Buster Douglas fame.
No way.
There you go. Now you know something about Mercyhurst. You can tell your
Now I know
friends at the
something
tailgate.
about- You know Buster Douglas went here? He's an alum?
Rest in peace, Buster Douglas.
That's true.
12 drives.
All right, 12 drives.
By yourself, Tommy Malott. More than or less than 4? Or
Bye.
that doesn't make sense. What was it? What did I say? He's going to play.
Tommy Malott is in on 4
more
or
than
more
4.
drives.
I thought you said more than 4. Either way, it's more than 4.
Yeah, I think he is too.
I think
you're not getting
drive
pulled
1,
out
drive
in the middle
2,
of the second
we're going
quarter.
to go. I think we're going to get 21 points right away in the first 3 drives.
If this game's close, I'm going to be so depressed.
Gosh, I
Could be.
know, right?
Yeah. If this
Zack-
game, for some reason, ends up like Oregon, Idaho, I'm going to be so depressed.
I doubt it's going to be a complete runaway like Maine. That was like a
That was insane, man.
That was
But
a
again, that
not a
energy, they came out
fluke,
juiced.
but it's like that just doesn't happen. You don't just go for 2-play 80-yard touchdown drives.
I don't know. This kind of feels like Stetson to me last year, where it was
Do
just
you think
like,
these guys are going to stay in Helena like like Stetson did and showed up at 4 a.m. to their hotel
oh,
rooms?
Gosh. just kind of felt bad for them at one point. Did we play that team? Did we ever play Long Island the year before that has like the shark in the logo?
I don't think so. We played McNeese and
2 years
who's the
ago,
other
maybe.
one we played?
play
2
Long
years
Island?
ago.
We were supposed to play them.
Yeah, we played Moorhead and McNeese 2 years ago. I remember. And then Oregon State. That was our non-con.
It's one of those teams where I saw the logo and I was like, I think the Bobcats played them. I'm pretty sure we played them on a Gold Rush or something like that. Long Island. What are you seeing, Thorny? Anything good? All right, here's another buy or sell for you guys as Thorny looks that up. Buy or sell.
Just our crack research team going on tonight.
Right?
I love
This
it.
is good.
Oh, it was 2020 COVID season. We're supposed to play them in COVID. Because I swear, I was like, you're right. They were on the schedule, and I was racking my brain, like, why didn't we play them? I don't remember playing them, but I remember seeing them on the schedule. Yeah, it's because of the COVID. There we go.
Buy or sell, 3 takeaways. 3 or more takeaways this game.
So
that's hard. That's too many. That's one too many.
So who said it today? I think it was Hunter Parsons. I was watching his presser with 406 Montana Sports. He said that's our standard.
It's 3 a game.
3
per game. Yeah.
Well, they've whiffed their standard pretty badly so far.
We've only got one. Like legit one. I mean, I don't really count that fumble at the end of the Lobos game. The guy just threw it.
Weren't we the lowest in the Big Sky last season on turnovers?
Oh man.
No, we were one of the best teams in takeaways.
Dude,
were we
Zack.
last year?
Yeah.
I thought maybe I'm thinking of something else. I swear.
I mean,
last year just felt like we couldn't get one.
I don't think you can see this. Like, I've done a whole page of research on where Montana State is in all the standings in the conference right now. You guys just ask me any question, I'll be able to answer it.
Where's our time of possession that you cared so much about at the beginning of the year?
We're number 2.
All right, there we go.
35 minutes per game.
Oh, goodness.
We're number 8 in sacks. We're not doing very good with sacks right now.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one. We're number 1 with points after. 14 for 14. Go Montana State.
Means we scored the most amount of touchdowns.
Did Vegan say Kotzman's back this week, I think?
He did say he's back, but
he did say that.
Sands says starting.
As he's done enough, he took advantage of the opportunity. Basically, he won the job.
So don't look at this. Here's a weird one for you. Who is currently number 1 in both scoring defense and offensive scoring offense?
In the Big Sky?
In the Big Sky. The same team. Scoring offense and scoring defense.
And scoring defense. I'm trying to think if anybody's had. I don't know.
Thorny, give me your answer.
Montana State.
Okay, Zach.
Oh, it's gonna be a left field. Northern Colorado. I don't know.
NAU.
Really? Okay. See how they are this year. They're kind of. I don't know what to think of them yet.
I put them number 4. I think in my power ranking.
I don't know what to think about a lot of schools. I have some opinions on some the top of the conference. I have some opinions on the bottom of the conference, but still waiting to see who shakes out where.
Yeah, I ramped them up. I don't know if it was actually number 4. I apologize to MSU 001. I started a thread on Bobcat Nation. I called Big Sky Power, and then MSU had a power ranking thread, and I was like, dude, I already had a thread about this, and Thorny outed me. He goes, well, he started this one earlier, and I was like, oh, I feel like a jackass. Sorry, dude.
Stealing thunder.
Yeah.
All right, should we go to Cooley questions?
Yeah, so I got to get rolling here pretty soon. I was going to ask you guys, do you want to try and finish this real quick, or do I need to leave, or should we kind of try and get out of here?
We can wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Some Cooley questions.
We're already in, an hour and 5 minutes?
Yeah, we're over an hour.
All right.
Talking about God knows what.
All right.
I'm almost at my end of my gallon of Hoot wine over here.
Yeah. Finished my NA beer a long time ago.
Well, let's shelf the Cooley questions if you need to get out there, Thorny.
Oh, is there anything pertinent for this game or anything? Or is there
No.
a bunch of kind of? Well, we have one from Twitter. I have to ask us. Roger Fisher asked, if the Cats go undefeated, am I going to continue my tradition of not washing my Gold Rush shirt?
I
That's
think
a
you
long
have to
time.
continue your sobriety.
No. That's even worse. No,
you can celebrate with a beer after the national championship, but at that point, if we're going undefeated and just crushing fools, I'm like, dude, you're sticking with the NAs for the season here.
Well, I've had a few this month outside of this podcast, so it's not completely sober. But it means I'm not allowed to drink one on the podcast, though, because that's the
Thorny
most consistent
sweating
part.
over there. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I
He's
haven't
like,
thought about
"Dang."
this."
Just painted myself into a corner over here.
But I will wear a stinky shirt all season. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned about that. Spill some beer on it, spill some ketchup on it, roll into Frisco, just stinky, nasty garbage shirt, mustard, a little bit of Cincinnati chili remnants.
Oh, man.
We won't be sharing a room.
No, tickets are already sold out, I'm pretty sure, for that
Mom's
thing
chili,
anyway.
wife chili, it'll be on the shirt.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
boy. Okay, I needed that.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, there was one. Let me check real quick. CNC Cat asked one as I click into football right now. Let's see, Golden Coolie questions. Let's see.
Do you want to just go about the Greeby Scotray one that somebody sent us?
Oh,
Yeah. Would you rather run at Brody Greeby 10 times or try and tackle Scottree Humphrey 10 times? Fully,
This seems easy to me.
fully you go first.
okay. Yeah, I think it is easy. I would rather run at Brody Greeby because I control where I go. And if he's going to maul me, I'm just going to back away. Scottree, I actually have to physically make contact with him. See, with Brody Greeby, I could just like bow down and be like, no, I'm good. You're going to get me. So I'm going to say I'm going to go at Brody Greeby.
I think I'd rather try to tackle Scotray because maybe he jukes you and maybe it's a little lighter, but I've seen Greeby around campus. He's going to light you up and tear you in half.
Not if I acquiesce.
I
Not if I just say,
Okay,
you're
all
good,
right.
dude. You're good.
So you're just taking a knee in every play? Is that fully strategy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
What if
You
you're
ever
not
seen-
allowed
what-
to do that?
What's the episode of Jackass where they get tackled by Jaron Allen? That's what I'm just imagining. You just getting planted.
This is basically a Joe's versus Pros type
Gosh.
game for that old
He
TV
would
show.
just snap me in half
Yeah.
so fast, dude.
Yeah.
So-
I feel like I could, I could maybe avoid a big hit just by kind of like diving down or I don't know. I think I'd rather
Don't
try
hurt me,
and
sir.
try and tackle Scottree Humphrey though, because I'm gonna whiff
Yeah.
every time. So
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh.
probably not gonna unless he purposely comes
I could
after me,
maybe
which is a
trip
good
him
possibility.
up, but yeah.
He might just kind of mow me over on purpose, which would
Oh,
suck real
man.
bad. I think getting mowed over by Scottree Humphrey would be worse than running straight into Brody Greeby in terms of like,
Probably.
because Humphrey's gonna get out of head of steam. He's gonna just kill me. He's gonna flat me. Gosh. So from the pain wise, I think that would probably hurt worse. Greeby's gonna rip you down to the ground, but
Gosh.
Jeez.
Just
All right.
bad news bears all around. All right, Thorny. I think we're good. Get us out.
all right. Hey,
Yeah.
Zach, thanks for joining us, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Talking about whatever. We haven't had you on in a while, so it was good to have you back on the show.
Oh, boys, I missed you. It's almost basketball season. I'll be back doing that. Last thing I'll say about that is pay attention. Our basketball teams are going to be really good. I think bold prediction already, kind of cooking it up. I'll give a little hint here. I think both our men's and women's team are 16-2 in conference contenders. That's what I think their records are going to be right now. So
Woo.
little fire off the top. I think we're going to be pretty dang good in basketball for
That's
both.
a couple
so,
20-win teams probably then.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Got a lot on that I'm starting to work, but get excited for basketball season 2, guys. It's going to be pretty sweet. I'm stoked to watch both teams all year.
Love it. Love it. That's good positivity heading into the basketball season and ending this
Heck yeah.
episode. Well, thanks to Gear Up Sports for being our sponsor for the year. We appreciate that. You can always find us on Twitter, RrCatcast. You can always find us on the web, rrcatcast.com. And guys, let's get out here. Let's go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.